Hello once again. I'm going to show you the new features available in this next version of Movecraft. So let's hop in this fighter and get started. It's a beautiful fighter. It's actually a Silver Empire fighter. They may be a bunch of bloodthirsty profiteers, but the Silver Empire does know how to make fighters. Okay, let me shut this thing. Okay. So, first, the standard method of movement, okay? I'm right-clicking, and I'm traveling in the direction that I right-click, right? Very, very simple. Okay, now, I'm going to enter direct control mode by left-clicking. Left-clicking enters and leaves direct control. Now, you note, whenever I move, now I'm hitting my arrow keys to move, and it's moving the fighter, not me. So this is just awesome. So I can keep looking forward, and if you right-click, you go up, and if you hit shift right-click, you go down. I can keep looking forward, keep my eyes on the target while I maneuver around. This is just very good for dogfighting. Previously, dogfighting was next to impossible. But now it works much better. Okay, so up here ahead of us, we have a Silver Empire escort carrier. I'm going to use that to show you some of the other features that are new in this next version of Movecraft. So let me land this thing. Again, I'm using this direct control. You note, I'm keeping my eyes straight forward, but I'm able to maneuver this fighter however I need to. And if you don't want to allow people to use direct control on your craft, you can set can direct control to false, and then they can't use it. Alright, I'm going to take her to the end of the deck where the elevator would be. Oh, hey, someone didn't put the elevator up when they were done, so I'm going to have to hop out of my fighter, and I'm going to have to put that elevator up. Okay, so I'm going to left-click again to leave direct control mode. Otherwise, every time I move, it tries to move the fighter, so that doesn't work. Hop out, there's my fighter. Okay, there's the lift. I'm going to jump down here. Okay, and I'm going to take control of the lift. The lift is a craft just like it. Oh, hey, I'm trying to right-click. It's not working. That's another feature I'm going to tell you about. Basically, when you have the pilot tool and you're in the command of a craft, clicking on something no longer sets it off. Okay, so you can see, I can control this. If I try to right-click to go forward or backwards, nothing happens because I have set this elevator to not allow horizontal movement. It only allows vertical movement. The way you do that is you set allow horizontal movement to false in the craft file. And I'll include the craft file in the description of the video so that you can see how that is phrased. Let me put this thing over the elevator. For this kind of precise control, direct control really doesn't make sense. So when you're doing precise maneuvering, you want to continue to use the right-click to go forward technique. Because it's easier to control the exact direction and movement of the fighter. So I'm trying to maneuver this thing onto this elevator, so I'm going to use the old method in order to get it there, so that I can control exactly where the wingtips are. So like right now I can tell, well, I've got to move it a little bit because my wings aren't exactly over the elevator, so I'm just going to move it a bit and then move it back, and so on and so forth. You see how that works. So for precise maneuvering, continue to use the old system. Now, alright, while I get this thing docked, I want to talk to you about something I mentioned earlier, which is now when you right-click, or well, when you click anything with the stick, or whatever your pilot tool is, while you are piloting a craft, nothing happens. This is another important change for dogfighting, because it used to be that you might accidentally click something while you're, clicking all over the place trying to get your fighter to the right position you need it to be, and it was a major problem. So now, if you want to control your guns, or if you want to use a sign, like a turn sign, on your fighter, you need to switch your inventory to something other than the pilot tool first, okay? So remember that. Now, it's going to take some getting used to. I'm still not quite used to it, but I think it really is a better system, so you don't accidentally, like one time when I was building this little hangar deck, I'm maneuvering my fighter and I accidentally touched the trigger for the guns. so I set fire to all of the fighters inside the hangar deck, and that was no good. All right, so we're going to head up to Flight Ops. That's our next area. Oh, looks like I myself left the elevator down. I'm going to have to go put that up. I don't want to be a hypocrite. All right, so while I'm doing this, the next thing we're going to talk about is rotation-aware static move signs. So there have been static move signs for quite some time. What's new is that now you can control their scope to keep people from abusing them, and which direction they will move the ship in will rotate with the ship. So a sign that moves your ship to the left always moves it to the left. Oh, there's also these release signs. So now you can right-click these release signs, and it will release your craft. All right, so I'm going to take control of this escort carrier again and show you how these signs work. There's a whole series of them spaced throughout this Flight Ops area. All right, so the way it works is you put RMove, capitalization doesn't matter, and then 3 numbers with commas. The first number is how far to move left or right. A negative number moves left, a positive number moves right. The second number is how far to move up or down. A positive number moves up, a negative number moves down. And the third number is forwards and backwards. A positive number moves forwards, a negative number moves backwards. And you can use any combination of these. Now, the orientation of left, right, front, back all come from the facing of the sign. So if you were a player facing the sign in such a way that you could read it, so it's in front of you, facing you, it's your left, your right, your forward, your backward. So you need to pay attention to what surface you put that sign on. If you put it on a side wall, it'll have a different orientation than if it is on a front wall. Now, if you want to use these in your craft, you need to do 2 things. First, you need to set can static move to true. And again, this will be in the airship.craft file, which will be in there'll be a download for it in the description. Also, I would highly recommend that you set max static move to some number, 2 or 3. Basically, that limits how far you can move via those signs. So you can't just make a sign that says, move me 1,000 blocks forward, and use that to make movement in the game trivial. All right, so let me show you these in action. So I right-click right here, and hey, it moves the ship to the left, and I right-click over here, move the ship to the right. You'll note I have something equipped other than the stick. Right-click this, it moves me forward, and all right, let me show you a reverse sign, which is just like the forward sign, except the last number is negative, right? Because negative means go backwards. So right-click this, and yeah, we go backwards. Great. Now, let me show you this. Up at the front of this, there's another sign, which also moves the ship backwards, even though it's a positive number. Why? Because from that sign's perspective, forwards for the sign is backwards for the ship. Does that make sense? So once again, pay attention to where you place the signs. Ditto for these on the wall. On this sign, if you read that, it basically says move forward 2 blocks and up 1 block. Well, from that sign's perspective, forward is the ship's left. Make sense? And this, again, you're going to move right 2 blocks and up 1 block. Or I would if I didn't get blocked. Okay, so that's all available to you. I had some users requesting another way to control ships other than the stick. And they didn't want to use direct control either, mostly for big ships. So that's what that's for. All right, now let me show you this. I'm quite proud of this. This is kind of a sneak peek at something that I'm going to be releasing soon. Soon in quotes. It is the Temple of Remembrance. The Temple of Remembrance is basically a big, huge arena. And look how big it is compared to that carrier. That carrier is not a small ship, and that arena is just huge. So it's an arena where you can have several different events. The reason I'm showing it to you in this video is because I figure showing you some of these new approaches and the torpedo system in a kind of a simulation of a combat situation is going to be more helpful for you. So I push this button. That starts the system loading up the scenario I've asked for. This is a simple scenario where a destroyer is going to come along and bomb a village, bomb a village unless I stop them, so I've got to fly a fighter and go shoot down the destroyer. So the new torpedo system. The old system works great, still in there, right? But you now have the option of creating a torpedo. I call it the launch torpedo, where you only have to right-click the sign once, and the torpedo launches. And the beauty of this is, it does not release your primary craft. So previously, you'd launch a torpedo, then you had to take your craft back over, and then you could go back to flying around. Well, now, you right-click, it immediately launches the torpedo, and you keep your main craft, and even better, now you can launch multiple torpedoes at once, because it no longer has to follow the one craft for one player rule. Alright, so we push this, and we get teleported in. So here we are, we're in the village of Philanel, and there's a bunch of fighters here, which we're going to use to defend the town. There's a couple of different types. That's a cannon type in the front. We're, of course, going to do torpedoes. And look, oh, there's a destroyer out here. He's going to come and bomb us if we don't stop him. So I'm going to hop into this torpedo fighter right here and take command. I'll use direct control. So get into direct control, left click once again. And look, I can rise just very easily, keep my eyes on the target, make sure I'm lined up properly. I don't know if anybody ever tried this on the old system, but it was just impossible. I'm going to get nice and close so we can see the whites of their eyes, if there was anyone on that ship, but there isn't. Okay, and it looks like it's just barely started moving. Here it comes. Okay, so let's fire number 1. There it goes. Now we'll fire number 2. Oh, isn't that beautiful? They're both flying at the same time. It probably doesn't mean much to you, but that used to not be possible, so it's cool to me. Alright, and then we light it on fire. Oh, it's already... Wow, okay, she went down fast. So she's already burning, and down she goes. Next time, don't pick on this ship. I want to go down there and see it. So, Geronimo, splat. Okay, that's alright, I spawn right here, because I'm in the middle of an event. And we go out here. Here comes the crashing ship. I don't know if you saw it. It was over pretty fast, but it was dropping bombs like crazy from those bombs right there. Yeah, anyway. Okay. I'm going to go sit in its shadow. I can catch it! Alright, so let's talk about just a couple of other things. A couple of other minor fixes, a lot of bug fixes, a lot of null pointer errors from collisions are gone. Let's see, and then the stairs. It wouldn't rotate the new wood stairs, but now it does. That all works now. Yeah, just some other kind of minor bug fixes. Thank you for watching. Like I say, I'm going to come out with some videos showing you some other scenarios in this Temple of Remembrance. It's going to be awesome. I've got one planned, airships versus zombies. It's almost done now. It's awesome. You get to toast zillions of zombies. But yeah, keep watching, and please subscribe, and thank you for your time.